All right, then we can get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's space section. Today, we have something very interesting that's happening in the space, especially in the crypto and gaming space. We all have been hearing about AI taking over, every particular field. But today, specifically, we'll deep dive into the impact AI is having in the entire crypto space and also in the gaming space. And today, our co-host is Ashton, who's from OpenxAI and OpenxAI Network, and we have Anmol from Surge. Hi, Ashton. Nice to have you here.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Hello, Anmol. Nice to have you here as well.
Hi, Pratik. Hi, everyone.
Yeah,
Great
we
to
also
be here.
have Bikash, who's one of the key developers at Surge. So we'll also be hearing from Bikash in between. But let's get started with the space. Ashton, let's do a quick intro about what you've been doing at OpenxAI and how things are looking at OpenxAI.
Cool. So OpenxAI is a AI infrastructure project. So the backbone of the OpenxAI protocol, it's called OpenMesh. So we've been building for the last 4 years. Um, it's a it's a decentralized cloud and AI infrastructure project. So the simplest way is to think about OpenxAI as a protocol. If you guys are familiar with Filecoin or IPFS. So with a Filecoin, anyone can go to Filecoin network or using IPFS protocol, you can store like an image and you can generate a public hash so anyone can access that. So anyone can store a file and anyone can access that file in a permissionless way, peer-to-peer. So OpenxAI protocol does the same thing. Instead of storing like an image, you can do AI agents, AI services, or AI deployments. So that's OpenxAI. And a little bit about myself. I've been in Web3 since 2015. I got into crypto after I left San Francisco. I moved to Sydney. Then I started Ethereum meetup and Bitcoin meetup. And then so that's the journey. We can go into more details, of course, if you guys are interested. But overall, OpenxAI it's a really cool technology that we build, and we're excited to work with you guys.
Thanks, Ashton. I think we are definitely more keen on hearing more about you and OpenxAI. But before that, let's quickly hear from the Surge team as well. Anmol, can you tell what you're doing at Surge and what is Surge all about in maybe a couple of lines before we dig deeper? Anmol, can you unmute yourself? Okay, I think there is some. Okay, let me invite him back as a speaker. Oh, seems to be some sort of issue. But yeah, I mean, we have Bikash here as well. So Bikash, can you maybe in a couple of lines describe Surge and what you guys are doing at Surge?
Yeah, hi, Pratik, hi, Ashwin. So we have been developing a hyper casual game, which is as simple as swiping left or right. And that is how it all started back in November 2024. And we have been developing this product and it's been a couple of months and we have onboarded more than 10K plus players for the game, which is as simple as swiping pump and dump for, uh, a lot, most of the coins which are available over the CoinGecko's platform. I've been working as an API integration guy, looking for integrating most of the coins over the search platform. And we have integrated a lot of coins, and we are still integrating more coins over the platform for players to predict more on those coins. Yep.
Thanks, Bikash. So, guys, as you know, we have been talking about Surge a lot during our spaces. So, for those who are very new, let me quickly tell you what Surge is. So, Surge, as Bikash mentioned, is a very hyper casual Tinder style crypto prediction place where you simply come in. You don't have to, bet real money, but you simply come in. You're rewarded with an in-game currency called gold. You can predict the price of multiple assets that are there on the platform, whether it will go up or down. And if your prediction is correct, then you'll be rewarded with the in-game currency back again. And it's quite addictive. It's quite fun. There are so many things that you can do with Surge. We'll dwell more into it as we progress ahead. But coming back to Ashton, like, would love to hear about your journey. Like you mentioned, you entered in 2015. You started off with some meetups in Australia when you moved from San Francisco. So tell me, how has your journey been so far? And what do you love the most about being in the crypto space, Ashton? Would love to hear about that.
Yeah, sure. Um, what I love about the space, I think when I first got in, it was, I like the idea of the Bitcoin concept. I grew up in Sri Lanka, so, we had war and also lots of centralized monopoly. So I tried Bitcoin before because I had e-commerce business back in Dubai. So I had to use Bitcoin to buy domains. So I used Bitcoin as a form of payment, but never knew about the technology. I came across one guy in Sydney who kind of taught me how to mine Ethereum. So that's how I got into Ethereum ecosystem. And since we were like a bunch of university, I would say university kids and university professors, we thought it's good to talk to people. So we ran meetups. It also helped me because, putting you in an uncomfortable position in front of like maybe 10, 20 people, trying to explain what is Ethereum in 2015 to smaller towns like Wollongong, which is kind of a small towns in Australia. It's quite difficult. So it was a good experience for me. I think, getting to know about the distributed ledger technology, not from a tech point of view, but also from a philosophical point of view, because that was the initial conversation, right? So now we have lots of dApps and use cases. Back in the days, it was just a decentralized virtual machine, right? So the world decentralized virtual machine. That was the value prop of Ethereum. So I ran it for a while, those meetups, and I started kind of a hedge fund, crypto hedge fund slash research firm. So we used to research tons of ICOs back in the days. And then we publish reports like Moody's for ICOs, if you want to call it. And then one of the projects that we evaluated and also ranked really bad was Phantom. So now they rebranded as Sonic. So at that time, Phantom team, they were in Sydney. So we got connected, and I was digging into the technology more. The more I read about the technology, I drawn into the protocol. So Phantom was a decentralized, again, L1 chain, way before Solana. So I like the idea of efficient Ethereum network. So I worked with Phantom for almost 2 years, and left Phantom 2019 or beginning of 2020. And that's the time started OpenMesh. So the journey, it's been quite, I would say, ups and downs, to be honest, because from a professionally and also personally, industry can be very toxic when you have a token attached to your project. What I mean by, especially when you work with Phantom, a large protocol, people think that you are doing the right thing because the token price is up. If the token price is down, they call you a scammer. So the journey is very colorful, if I could summarize.
I mean, I can totally imagine, Ashton. Like, and being, I think you said you were there in the space since 2015. So it's safe to call you as one of the OGs in this space, because not a lot of people had even discovered cryptocurrencies back then, but deciding to pivot, or rather decide your entire career to be built at that age, at that time, especially with so much uncertainty, so much regulatory uncertainty, especially. I think kudos to that. So eventually, when you jump back to 2025, people just say that you guys were lucky you discovered crypto, right? But that's not the case. Like, we have seen a decade of pain, like so much more pain, I would say. Seen so many bear cycles and bull cycles. I entered in the space a little bit after you, but I totally can understand the kind of toxic space the crypto space is. But that being said, I can't even imagine being in any other career apart from the blockchain space in a broader vision. So yeah, I mean that's wonderful, man. 2015 onwards, you've completed almost a decade in this space. So would definitely love to hear more of your thoughts, because coming from someone who has spent so much time and experience in the space would be very helpful and delightful for everybody who's here joining the space as well. I want to understand, Ashton, how like you mentioned that initially you were running some Ethereum clubs, and then you were mining some Ethereum, and then eventually you worked with Phantom. In fact, we are also pretty close to the Phantom team. I don't know if that time Barek Sikandari was a part of the team or not, but I'm quite good friends with him, and we've had long conversations a lot of times about his vision overall. Maybe you also ran paths with him, but yeah, Phantom has been very close to us as well. Like we've worked in the past. So good to know that both of us have that same thing. So a question I had, Ashton, was how did you decide? I mean, Filecoin, we all know, how, about Filecoin. So was Filecoin an inspiration, or was something else an inspiration for you to start OpenXAI?
Yes and no, because like the first experience, the power of peer-to-peer file sharing, it was like obviously the torrent networks, right? So when you're growing up Sri Lanka, how you download movies, it's using torrent networks. So I always liked the idea of like being able to access files without having like a KYC done, right? So that to me is like freedom. So one of the key aspects that I was head of innovation, and also I was kind of like in charge at that time how to come up with better way to improve the efficiency of the network. So with Phantom Chain, like what is the core value proposition of L1 chain? L1 chain can be, your core value proposition would be something like consensus as a service. So the challenge at that time, if someone paying for, let's say, $200 to run a, let's say, Phantom node on AWS, and if you're receiving, let's say, $50 worth of Phantom tokens, so as a node operator, your economic viability can be extremely low. So what that means, the chain will have the security and efficiency of the chain has a direct correlation to the token price. In other words, when the token is up, price is up, a lot of people coming in basically running nodes. When token price is down, the chain becomes centralized. So that's a problematic, because if your value proposition is to come and build on our chain, because we are not centralized, we're a decentralized chain, and also our chain can run efficiently, finality of the network can be high. So those value propositions usually go out of the window, especially during bear markets. So the challenge now, okay, so how do you address that problem? Because it wasn't just a Phantom problem, that was across most of the chains, right? So what I saw is a direct correlation between the chain, any chain, including Ethereum, by the way, like the relationship between the token price to actual the security of the network. So I was thinking, okay, so why $200 for AWS? Like that was the question I was asking, like 2020. I wanted to understand why AWS charging $200. Why not? Why can't be $50, right? So that was kind of like the early days of research. One way I knew about peer-to-peer networks, and having like IPFS protocol for file sharing, that's cool. But I was always thinking like, why can't I host my website? Why can't I have like a database that like what you get from a cloud provider? Why can't I have like a regular compute on a distributed network? Then the more I dig into the problem, and I found out, projects like Golem, they started grand vision of like peer-to-peer compute provisioning, which means I can rent my compute to you, you can rent out compute for me, and etc. That project failed. So the lesson to me, and then I was looking at it, okay, peer-to-peer protocols can be quite hard to actually scale and have a stable network. But at the same time, you have like a very, very cool use cases, like a node as a service. So then what I tried to do early days to address the node operators' economic viability. So what that means, we built infrastructure. We leverage data centers, a lot of data centers. So these data centers have tons of supply, like compute, specifically compute and bandwidth. We started renting out those compute and bandwidth in bulk, like wholesale price, and we can run these nodes, like especially proof of stake type of nodes, for a very efficient rate. So that was like the beginning. And then the more the network grew and how the more we learn about the protocol, it became like a network. So that's where OpenMesh came to the picture. We built the decentralized cloud network. But the journey is it was kind of like trying to figure out solutions for a problem that I personally experienced during the Phantom time.
Yeah, I think that's a very novel problem statement, I would say, which I think a lot of players in this space are trying to solve, and many have already, solved it to quite an extent. So, just a follow up on that, Ashton, like how far along do you think OpenxAI is from, this being used? Maybe by like, is your focus going to be on institutions or retailers, or is it going to be both? Like, how far along are we from? Like where we see a world where either institutions or everybody who are dealing with even small compute or small storage, they go to OpenxAI and start using it. So how far along are we from that?
So OpenxAI specifically we designed for AI only. So what that means, the value proposition of OpenxAI, you can basically rent out a machine from the network, and when you rent out, you can attach to your wallet, because there's no registration, there's no sign up. This completely is a permissionless network. So we have a web-based console called X Studio. Right? So if you go to our website, you can openxai.org. On the right hand side, we have this X Studio. You click on the X Studio, and there are tons of GPUs we have. So you can rent out a GPU. When you rent out a GPU, you connect your wallet, you activate that GPU to your wallet, which means all of a sudden, everything that goes inside that node or the GPU, it belongs to you. So if you have a hardware wallet, like let's say Ledger, so the only person who can access that information inside that server is going to be you. Unless, like, the only way someone compromise or someone can hack into your AI infrastructure, the only person have access to it's you. Therefore, it's a very, very secure network. So that's number one, and also extremely private network for yourself, because once you rent out that machine belongs to your wallet, and the entire infrastructure wrapped in a smart contract. And you have additional layers. So you have a Web 2 security, you have a Web 3 security. So if you connect with like something like Ethereum wallet, you are basically leveraging Ethereum network security to secure your AI infrastructure. So with that, we've got tons of open source AI applications you can deploy directly into your virtualized server. And the cool thing about OpenxAI, so when you build your AI services, so let's call it, let's say, simple chatbot you build, and you train that chatbot with, let's say, crypto data. You ingest some crypto data, you train the whole thing. Our OpenxAI protocol allow end user not only build the backend, you can also build the front end. Not only that, you can actually have your own URL, like a web address. And then you can also do tokenize, which means you can use, currently we have Base for this purpose. So using Base chain, you can actually create business logic. So for example, let's say I build my own chatbot. Let's call my chatbot, let's say Crypto GPT. So I create the Crypto GPT, and I rent out 1 or 2 nodes in, let's say, United States. Now I control the whole thing. I own the whole thing. and then I'm going to create a business logic on top. If someone use my this crypto GPT application, I'm going to provide 100, let's say, questions for free. Any questions people ask more than 100 questions, I'll be charging, let's say, 0.005 USDT per question. So I can set all the logic on our studio. Then you can just click one button. It creates a smart contract for you attached to the infrastructure. So all of a sudden, you can run your own ChatGPT kind of a service without having to have a bank account, without having to have a company. You can just launch your own AI service, like without having any middleman. The cool thing with that deployment, let's say a consumer discover that app and want to access that app. So you have a public URL. Let's say you bought a domain from GoDaddy, or you use one of our domain service from OpenX. You can access that service. So a consumer and a creator, or AI entrepreneur versus the user, they can interact in a peer-to-peer manner, because the user is paying directly to the creator. There's no middleman, right? Because the user is paying in crypto. From crypto wallet, it goes to the creator's crypto wallet. So because we leverage the Web3 technologies, including Web3 wallets, to receive payments to subsidize bank accounts, instead of having a SaaS wrappers, traditional Web2 SaaS wrappers, we use on-chain SaaS wrappers. And instead of having to have like a company, registrations, all of that can be done through smart contracts. So the idea here is for you to build your own AI company from your bedroom in under 5 minutes, compared to someone has to set up a company, wait for a bank account, integrate credit card payment systems. It can take months. And if you go to certain regions like Africa, they don't even have bank accounts. So the idea here, you can launch your AI company, AI agents, AI services without a middleman. Is a very, very powerful thing.
Absolutely, Ashton. And another point I'd like to add is like the hassles, right? So apart from that, there are a lot of nowadays countries are also coming up with a lot of regulatory policies around AI, right? Which again, as a individual entrepreneur, if you're looking to just experiment with things, for you to having to go through this entire, like what you just mentioned about the banking licenses, and having to deal with regulatory authorities over what is allowed, what is not allowed, and what is allowed in an experimental phase as well, right? So as an individual, it can get very very task heavy, and I think you trying to solve all of these problems is not just from an entrepreneur perspective, right? Even from a B2C perspective, where you're looking at some retailers who have already discovered some pretty cool AI tools that they can potentially use and leverage and directly pay the founder of that particular tool. I think it's a very it's safe to say it could be like a good marketplace of sorts, along with having a correct me if I'm wrong here, like it's like a marketplace for AI agents, and then you also have a tech stack on top of which, like, you can build a backend as well as front end. Ashton, is that the right way to put it?
Yeah, so you can say like Hugging Face with like OpenSea together.
Awesome. That's great to know. So let's dig deeper. I think there is some problem with Anmol's device, so I can probably ask this question, or rather talk about it. So the main purpose of the partnership between Surge as well as OpenxAI, right, is that like just to spend a couple of minutes on explaining what Surge does, Ashton, probably to you as well as everybody else who's here. So on Surge, you can simply download the app. You don't have to load any USDT or USDC or any other currency for that matter. You simply go, you do certain tasks, like whenever you log in daily, you will be credited with some gold. When you do certain tasks, you'll be given some gold. There's a miner which mines gold on behalf of you by just staying active on the application. There are a lot of ways for you to earn gold. Now, with this gold that you have earned, which is like the in-app currency, all you need to do is simply swipe right or swipe left on. There will be various tokens that come on the home screen. So for example, there are 3 game modes. There is like the first mode, which is a degen mode, in which you predict the price of the asset going up or down in a span of 10 minutes. So let's say the first chart that comes up is Bitcoin. So if I swipe right, that means I'm predicting that the price of Bitcoin is going to go up after 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, if the price is up, you will be rewarded with additional gold. And that gold is to a magnitude of almost 10 times the gold that you are sort of waging for this prediction, right? So there are different modes. The first mode is a degen mode, which predicts the price and which helps you predict the price in 10 minutes. Second is an analyst mode, which does the prediction over a span of 1 hour. And the third is an expert mode, which does the prediction over a span of 1 day. So that's the other three modes. Now every mode like you have something called as a miner level. So as you earn more gold, you can upgrade your miner level, you can upgrade your player level also. So once you upgrade more in the game, so you'll be able to bet with way more higher gold. There are lots of new features that keep getting unlocked for you as you progress within the game. So that's in a nutshell about what Surge is for everybody who's joining in for the first time. Now, how we are planning to partner with OpenxAI is there's this feature called AI within the Surge app. It's in the centermost tab on Surge. So right now we are using some tools for directly predicting whether the price of the asset is going to go up or down. But in the next version that comes out, so there's going to be a lot more work that we have put in. So essentially what we are doing is we are reading a lot of fundamentals. We are looking at a lot of technical indicators, which we are not going to do it, but the AI is going to do it. So it's going to constantly scrape through multiple tokens, look at their support, resistances, Fibonacci's, Ichimoku clouds, Bollinger Bands, EMAs, so on and so forth. There are multiple technical tools that we have that we'll be feeding this AI. And then it will basically, you go there and you just type BTC, and then you ask whether the price of BTC will go up or down after 10 minutes. And the AI will do as much research as possible for you and then give you a prediction from the AI side whether the price of the asset will go up or down and how up could it potentially go. So what could be your target profits, what could be your entry point, what could be your stop loss. So it's an excellent tool that any trader who's not very good at trading but is looking for some support through which AI can work on their behalf to get the right areas of entries and exits. So that's what the AI section in Surge is going to look like. And this is going to be built on top of OpenxAI. So that's what the main technical integration and tech partnership is going to be all about. So that's going to happen phase 2. Phase 1, what the partnership right now we are doing is OpenX, the token of OpenxAI, has already been listed onto Surge. So you guys can go on Surge. There's a search bar as well. On Surge, just type the token name and then you'll be able to see OpenX token. Keep swiping. There's going to be something that I'm going to give a teaser. But the more you swipe on OpenX, there is going to be a higher chance for you to get some exciting and interesting rewards. Next week, there's going to be another big announcement that's coming in terms of this partnership. So keep swiping. That's the only hint that we can give right now. So OpenX is live right now on Surge. So you can go and keep swiping out there. And whether you predict it goes up or down, you can have your own biases, do your own analysis, and then let's see how many of you all get it right. So that's what the main thesis of the partnership is. Another thing that I'm going to talk about in a bit is how can the community of OpenX that is there right now benefit from this partnership. So what are we giving to them? So before getting into that, so I'd like to add some more questions for you, Ashton. And before asking you a question, Bikash, who's one of the developers at Surge, Bikash, can you tell me what sort of challenges that you face while while developing the application? So as we all know, so this is like the third version of the application. The first version was very bare bones, designed internally. Second version, we got a very professional tech team on board who built out like a very fantastic version. And then we were not very happy with the design, so we hired a completely new design team as well and like refurbished the design. And right now it looks absolutely stunning. So that's how the journey has been. But Bikash, as a developer, like what sort of challenges you face while developing the app? So would love to hear from your side as well.
Yeah. So one of the major problems and the biggest challenges was fetching live cryptocurrency data reliably and efficiently from the CoinGecko API. So we explored a vast possible ranges of APIs to finally basically catch on to CoinGecko. Still, we are looking at more APIs which can potentially help us faster information and which can basically handle the rate limits, the API request delays, and the data synchronization between the prices and the chart information. So we basically filtered out this a vast range of APIs and finally landed upon the CoinGecko's platform to leverage their platform and directly use their API. Also, we struggled with the UI UX, which was just a skeleton, which we started almost a year ago. And yeah, that is how it went out. And we started upon integration, the charts from Binance, from TradingView. We started upon integrating their iframe. And finally, we have just successfully integrated Binance charts by synchronizing exact price information between the charts and the price feeds.
Yeah, I'm certain like the kind of challenges never keep ending. And what's more interesting is Surge as a team, so they've always kept community first. So whatever feedback was being relayed by the community on our Telegram, so we took them very seriously and then quickly went to create a version which is something that the community wants. So that's been the journey so far with Surge. Ashton, over coming back to you, like what kind of challenges you faced? Would love to hear about that. People generally hear about success stories, but seldom tend to forget about the kind of path that they had to take to reach there, right? So would love to hear from your side as well.
Wow, challenges. Oh my God, we probably have to spend maybe, I don't know, 2, 3 hours talking about the journey, especially the painful journey. I think the biggest thing when you don't have VC-backed projects, like we chose not to have VC backing. That's for a reason, because I still have kind of a like the experience with Phantom, because with Phantom we raised a lot of funds. The experience that we had to go through, especially with VCs, and I decided it's not a good arrangement. Ultimately, ultimately VCs don't add much value, to be honest. So and also it can be quite influential in terms of the direction of the protocol. So often it's not the ultimate product or ultimately what is good for the network or the product. It's is often what the investors or the most powerful people behind the VC cabal needs to actually translate that into, i.e., token price going up and giving them good exit. So like one of the key things that we chose not to have any VCs, and what that means is funding the project by the team, right? So that comes with a lot of challenges, because most of the time people don't believe your vision, because you're just a small team. Try to explain, like, hey, is it there's a possibility, potentially these kind of a networks or these kind of open source software can be successful, and you don't have a proper business models. Like when it's come to SaaS business landscape, you can say, okay, we provide XYZ services, and then we're going to charge ABC. After 3 years, you can be profitable. You build your product market fit, and you have your your go to market, and etc. But when you're building open source software, and when you don't want to have like a shit coins attached to that protocol, you have to really think about what is actual long-term vision, and thinking about how to build your minimal viable ecosystem and expanding that, and also surviving, right? So that's a lot of challenges, because the biggest challenge to me is attracting the right people with the right intention. A lot of people join projects because they're looking for job, or they've got nothing to do, therefore like they pretend and join, and cause a lot of drama within the team. So I've had those kind of situations a lot, because I tend to believe people. I see good in people, so I think what I learned throughout the journey is to like not to believe too much when it's come to people. And second, I think it's like having like good talented experienced team members who can actually get things done. Otherwise, you get delays after delays after delays. So my biggest challenge, of course, it was to do with people.
Yeah, I think I can completely resonate with this because just like you, Surge is also completely self-funded. No VC money, no external money. So it's been completely bootstrapped by the AltCoinBuzz team. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the month, we have to pay all the bills, and we don't really have any money to back on. So, but I think nowadays, like the projects that are completely self-funded, so their tokens, especially, is what our observation has been, have been doing really good because there are no unlock pressures from VC sides, and it's something that every community members has a part in. So think of it as a community first project. So that's what makes this self-funded bootstrap project very successful in the long run. So kudos to that, Ashton. I'm certain the journey would have been very rough for you, but hats off to you for pulling it off. And I think that's what veterans in this space uh, end up doing quite well, is understanding what is the need of the market, what is the demand of the market, and then taking the harder way, taking the less traveled route, and then reaching there. So congrats on that, Ashton. I think well done with that. A question that I think you've partly answered, but maybe you'd like to add a little bit more. Before asking the question, one, like I was talking about, there is one important update for everybody who is a part of the OpenxAI community. So if you join the Surge Telegram mini app by using the referral code OpenxAI, we are going to paste the referral code right after the call, right after the spaces here. So OpenxAI is the referral code. So if you join with that referral code, you have the potential to win 350,000 gold along with 25 Surge tokens. So that's one of the key benefits for the partnership for all the community members out there, and to the members of Surge who are already a part of the Surge. So you can go to the task section. There are a few tasks related to OpenxAI. If you complete those tasks, you'll be rewarded with 50,000 gold for every task that you are completing. Very simple tasks. You just need to join their socials and check out OpenxAI. Do that, and then you can simply go back and claim your gold. So that's one of the ways we are rewarding both the communities of OpenxAI as well as Search. So that's on that side. Next week there's going to be a leaderboard competition for the top ranked or most accurate folks in a weekly basis on Search. These leaderboard rankers will be rewarded with OpenxAI tokens. So next week's leaderboard is going to be brought to you by OpenxAI. So that's another exciting thing that whose details we'll be sharing shortly. It can happen next week or the week after that. We are just finalizing on the timeline for the same. But yeah, that's another interesting thing. Coming back to you, Ashton, since the search team is not here right now, so I have to ask the question as well as answer it myself. But coming back to you, Ashton, one thing that like the community also wanted to know, which was a question that came in, is how is OpenxAI helping developers push the boundaries of AI innovation? Now you've answered it partly, but maybe you want to add something more on top of it, Ashton.
So if you look at the typical journey for any AI entrepreneur or developer today, so they have to follow followings, right? So first, they have to come up with an idea, and they need to figure out where to host that idea, and they have to build that idea. Once they build the idea, they need to figure out how to monetize the idea. If your pure motive is to build some cool apps and not to think about monetization, then it's okay. But if you want to take one step further, let's say starting a startup or a business out of your idea, then what you need to do, you need to go and register a company, because the reason why you need a company often, when you have an AI service, let's say you build let's say a chatbot for real estate industry, and you have this business and you're providing B2B service. So in order for your end customers to pay you, you need to integrate like a credit card payment systems into your app. In order for you to receive payments from the credit card payment provider, you need to have a bank account. In order for you to have a bank account, you need to have a company. In order for you to have a company, you need to work with lawyers and etc. So I see two stages, right? So going from 0 to 1 as an AI entrepreneur or AI developer. So there's so many things you have to do when it's come to building a technology. And then the second stage is going from, let's say you have an idea, it's working, I have users, now I want to translate that into a business. Now, if you look at this whole journey, we looked at like numerous, founders, solo founders, teams. What we found is sometimes they just don't want to go through this whole process. They want something quick now. They just want to validate something. They just want to see if the customers that they're thinking that they think is existing, they want to test it now, which means not in a test in a Google Sheet or sending a forum, because that's 2010, right? You can't be saying, hey, I want to test our product. Here's a Google form. Can you actually give how much would you pay for this product? No, people want to test now. So what we allow with our protocol and our network and also our web-based console, you can just pick a foundational model, you find the most cheapest GPU, and you tokenize your infrastructure, you build your backend, and then you also build your, let's say, your front end, your databases, and you generate a URL, and you also configure your business logic. Instead of having a credit card payments or banks, you replace all of that middleman. I call it, let's say, like old systems, replace all of the systems, and you leverage Web3 technology to launch your AI company under like 5 or 10 minutes, instead of spending like a couple of weeks or even a couple of months to get a bank account and all of that stuff. So I think that's the big innovation, and that's the breakthrough that anyone can, even someone from North Korea or from Iran can launch that, because our network, there's no way to marginalize, right? So anyone can use the network to deploy something, and then anyone can access those services. So to me, that like being able to provide and run these AI services, it's a 100x in terms of the efficiency, in terms of the time someone takes from go to zero to one. So I think that's a big innovation for a lot of developers.
Yeah, I'm certain this is some tool that many developers or probably potential developers from the community who are trying to get their hands onto AI and looking for some hands-on tools that can make their life much easier. So OpenxAI is the go-to platform for you guys. If there's any editorial, like a video tutorial or something that you would like to share with our community, Ashton, later, please do share so that they can go through the steps, like a sort of a beginner's guide that you can share with us, which we can share with our community members who are looking to use the platform. So that could be very helpful.
Yeah, I think on our product, the way we designed, we try to avoid as much tutorial possible, because if you're building a great product, it should be obvious, right? Because now you have sophisticated, like we have enough, like I would say we've got enough, like in the audience that we are dealing with, let's say even 12-year-old, 13-year-old or 14-year-old, they are sophisticated enough for them to figure out how to use like basic applications. Like I said to my engineers, my product team, we need to have our studio, which where people can deploy and manage the AI services. It should look like signing up with your, let's say, your YouTube account, right? So it's simple steps people can follow. And we do have tutorials, but if you go to our website and if you open up our studio, it should be very simple for you to use. If you're advanced, you can go dig into more advanced features, but the basic features are very, very simple. You have 3-step process: pick your model, pick your infrastructure, pick your monetization, and one click, all deployed for you.
Thanks, Ashen. That should be helpful for anybody who's trying to, navigate through this. And in case you guys have any question, do follow the X account of OpenxAI as well as their social groups. You can find the links on the website at the bottom side, and you can ask the questions to the community members out there. Or you can always reach out to us, and we can have the questions and queries answered by you on their behalf. On top of your head, Ashton, wanted to ask, like you know what Surge has been doing, and we have discussed about how we can integrate with OpenxAI. What else do you think could be potentially a part of a tech integration between Surge and OpenxAI? Like apart from what the obvious answers, Do you think there is something else that can be done in terms of a tech integration with a platform like with a mini app like Search on Telegram and integration with either OpenX Network or OpenX AI or OpenMesh? So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so what I'm terrible at basically is spotting like trends and narratives are not in my age group.
Okay.
When it's come to when it's come to our projects and what we deliver, we deliver infrastructure, which is very, very boring, right? People don't really get infrastructure stuff. When I heard Surge with your Surge team, and to me, like, wow, this is so cool because it's one side you have like a Tinder kind of a behavior, which is very popular. People are very familiar with it, and the other thing is people, every time if you're in crypto, you always go to coinmarketcap.com, right? Just to check the price. And what you always want to know, what's the price going to go up or down, right? So typically this is what people are looking to do in crypto. And funny enough, if you go to coinmarketcap.com now, they have this AI kind of a feature. It's basically saying it has a prompt is there, why Ethereum or whatever the coin that you choose, why this coin is down or up. It basically has a prompt, and you click on it, and it gives you all the answers and information. So, especially for people in the space that looking for like more cool apps and people wanted to integrate, especially in the retail space, I think this is a great app in my opinion. So when I first heard about the app, and also looking at the functions, one thing I thought it would be interesting to explore, like a lot of people want to understand, okay, so there's a technical analysis and there are sentiment analysis. So depending on the type of tokens you're talking about, that has some sort of a relevancy, right? Small caps, meme coins, extremely sentiment analysis. Large caps, you've got to have like technical analysis. So what Surge can possibly maybe could do, giving more insights, more, kind of a, like your own personalized type of a experience, because you can swap left and right about how people feel about a token. If you go to coinmarketcap.com, each token has a voting, right? That votes will tell you real time how they feel about a token. Now you are gathering that information already, right? So imagine I'm swapping multiple tokens that I care about, and that would be a good trigger for your product team to understand, okay, users are interested in this particular product, and user is inputting this as his views. Now you can personalize the feed based on what the person is feeling, because the user is giving you that insights to you, right? And other users are doing the same. So I would say you have a very good user input that normally you don't get, because the user is forced to do left and right. That's the primary function of the app, to me at least. So that is a very good, is an amazing tool, and also amazing insights for you real time, for you to provide more personalized feeds and personalized AI feedback. I think that would be interesting, because if you go to CoinMarketCap, I only go refresh the page, but how often I interact with CoinMarketCap, right? I don't go vote in real time, because I have to type something, I need to sign up. It's a lot of hassle. But here is a left and right, so which means a lot of people will be interacting with it. So that is a great valuable information and data for you to provide more personalized services.
Very, very rightly put, Ashton. In fact, like even the current version, right? So we initially just had a right and left, and then based on community feedback, we also added a skip button. So there are certain tokens that our community just don't want to predict on, right? So if you swipe down, then you can potentially skip the coin. So we are definitely noting all the user interactions, and based on that, we'll be personalizing feeds. In fact, in the next versions that come out, so there's also going to be a news tab where we put out a news, and you can simply swipe right or left based on whether you like the news or whether you think the news is bullish or not, right? So based on how bullish or bearish a news is, so that comes up in your feed. There are going to be quizzes. There are going to be PvP, like you can challenge a player for a one-on-one round of certain set of tokens. There are going to be perps. So there are so many interesting things that just keeps coming out. This is like the very first public beta version. I wouldn't even call it as a prod version. So public beta version, and I think we put it out almost less than couple of months back. We are already at 10,000 users completely organically. Users love playing. The retention rate is extremely high, because once those who are on the call and have not tried out Surge yet, just for once, just go and sign up on Surge, and it's fairly simple. You just need to click on the link, and that's it. There is no sign up. There is nothing else required. You don't have to connect your wallet. It's so easy to use. Just go click on it and you can start swiping. It's as simple as that. So that's what we have been doing. But thanks, Ashton. I think this personalized feed based on user feedback is something that uh, all of these metrics are something we have been tracking. But personalizing the feed based on how users are swiping and showing them that particular news which is relevant to them. Like for example, some users might just be interested in gaming tokens, or just in AI tokens, or just in layer one tokens, or exchange tokens, or perp dexes tokens, which is like a very hot topic right now. So we can show that personalized feeds for them. We can show how to mine the latest upcoming perp dexes, how to get the most points out of it. So it's sort of like a super app is what we think of Surge as, where you get to know about fundamentals, about technicals, about so many other data. Like if even the current version, if you see, like just on the right side of the card, so there is videos, articles, news, and chats, which is coming soon. Just a heads up, it might come as early as middle of October to end of October. That's our target. So what you'll also get is, along with the token, now you can see real time latest videos, latest news, latest articles, and you can also chat with people who are having similar interest in that particular token. So that feature is again going to be very cool for you to make informed decisions. So yeah, that's what's happening at Soul right now. I would like to ask so many questions to you, Aston, but unfortunately we are almost coming towards the end of the spaces. But just would like to know what's the roadmap for OpenX AI and Open Network looking like for anything major that is coming up right now that you would like our community to know. Of course, we'll cover them on AltCoinBuzz, but a sneak peek, a teaser of what's coming next.
Yeah, so a big thing that we're currently working on, I consider this is something very interesting. I've been thinking about this for almost 2 years now. If you look at like our financial markets today, we have financial markets for pretty much for most of the industries, right? So you have stock market for equities, you have forex markets for currencies, and you have digital asset market, which is cryptocurrency market, and you have markets for energy, you have market for you got markets for coffee, you have markets for oil, you have markets for gold, but you don't have a market for GPU and compute. So tokenizing GPU and tokenizing compute is something we're going to be launching soon in October. So we'll be working with Base, FetchAI, and OpenxAI together. So we partner up with a lot of NVIDIA distributors. So users can rent out an NVIDIA GPU. I will not tell you the specific steps because we have to reveal during the event. But just think about, you get the NVIDIA GPUs, there's a little bit magic happen in the middle, and people can mint tokens. That tokens can be traded. So if you think about like a typical GPU compute, you picture like a server sitting and doing nothing other than just providing compute on a data center. But if you can tokenize it, you can all of a sudden you can program it, the compute become liquid, GPU become liquid, and we can enable like a lot of DeFi applications around GPU and compute. So that's I would say one important and maybe a major thing that's happening this year. Other than that, we are expanding from Base to BNB to Solana. So one cool experiment I like to do with that integrations with the chain integrations is the idea of the cross-chain AI services provisioning. So what that means, so let's say if you're an AI builder and you found out you've got a really cool use case, and that use case in terms of distribution, Solana might be a great distribution for you because of your AI app. So what you can do, you can build your tokenization methods and your monetization logic, everything using Solana chain. So the people can pay directly through Solana chain. You don't need routers. You don't need any proxies. And your actual, let's say, when you receive payments from the users, and you need to pay for compute and GPU, or you need to maintain, let's say, your infrastructure. Infrastructure, you want to keep it more maybe decentralized place. Let's say you can run your infrastructure on Ethereum network, secured by Ethereum network, and also you have let's say a primary token on Ethereum network because you might have a trading volume coming from Ethereum, but your users are in on Solana. So the idea is having a freedom for you to basically have your users on another network and then have your trading or your financial, your infrastructure, whatever it is, things that you can kind of a split between different chains and run a one single service as a one product or one service can be very interesting because the cross-chain DeFi and cross-chain AI is something I think is the future. So we'll be doing some experiments. There will be some good products and capabilities this year. But overall, I think these are two major things will be in our roadmap.
That's great to hear, Ashton. So you're hoping that October will be October for OpenxAI, and we'll get to know about the new integration very soon. Do follow AltCoinBuzz so that we can cover all the latest updates that are happening with OpenxAI. Do follow OpenxAI's all social channels as well, so you can stay up to date with whatever updates are coming out and the sneak peek that Ashton just mentioned about, so that that's there. And we don't like to speculate, but personally, after hearing Ashton, I'm very convinced to go and buy OpenxAI token. So that's not financial advice, but that's something that I'm looking forward to. And on that note, I think we have come towards the closure of the session. So thank you so much, Ashton, for sparing time and joining us and telling our community about what you have been up to, what your company has been up to. We got to learn a lot more about OpenX, and also I personally got to learn about a lot more about a field that I didn't know existed in the past, right? So I'm very excited. I'm going to personally go and try out, using OpenxAI, see if I can build something out of it and share with you properly and share with the community as well. So thank you so much, Ashton, once again for having here. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming in here. I'd like to end the spaces by saying that OpenxAI token is live on Surge. You can start swiping, and like I mentioned in the beginning, keep swiping a lot more. Look for the search for the token and swipe. There are going to be exciting rewards for that. Next week or the week after that, there's going to be a new competition, a weekly leaderboard competition where the rewards will be in the form of OpenxAI tokens. You can use the code OpenxAI to sign up on Search to get over 350,000 gold as well as 25 Search tokens. And for all the Search community members, there are new active tasks available in the Earn section. You just need to join all the socials of OpenxAI, and then you can directly go and claim 50,000 gold for every task that you're doing. Once again, thanks, Ashton. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. On that note, I'm going to end this spaces.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.